All right, welcome back. We're back to our discussion. Minus one panelist who will be returning here shortly. Question I wanted to pose to the group is, do you guys feel that this current trend of whitewashing history is a backlash or response to critical race theory?
Wow. And my answer is no. Because whitewashing, we've been talking about whitewashing black American history, what I refer to myself as an American black. For me, let's say I'm an American of African descent. I'm too far away to be, in my opinion, to be called an African American. Barack Obama would be an African American, literally an African American. That's who I term as African American, and maybe his kids and his grandkids, maybe even his greats. But that's a side note. As far as critical race theory and whitewashing go, we've been talking about whitewashing in Black history for decades before critical race theory ever became a big thing in America. But critical race theory, it goes under different names all over the world. And that's how you know it's a hoax. And it's a hoax because it preys on the weakness of every country, every continent/country. It evolves its name to fit the weaknesses or the bad past of any country it's implemented. In Europe, they have critical race theory, it's just not called it. They base theirs on economic disadvantages between the haves and the have-nots. In third world countries, they base it, again, on the haves and have-nots, or theirs might actually be on certain tribes and all that stuff. There's tribes worse or lower than the other. Here in America, we've had a problem with race over the centuries. So they base it on race here. But it's the same thing. It's a Marxist ideal, or based off of Marxist ideology. It is designed to destroy civilizations and countries so that the Marxists reign supreme. And Karl Marx said it himself. He said, my job here is to burn down every system, set everything on fire, quite literally, and then I will reign over the ruins. And we got a lot of people, and unfortunately a lot of Americans who look like me, they either knowingly or unknowingly love Marxism. But they don't understand Marxism destroys everything, including the soldier who fought for it. Because as, and I know I'm kind of jumping a little bit, like the labor unions found out with Adolf Hitler, who was, by the way, a leftist. So everybody keeps talking about Hitler and the Republicans. No, he was a socialist. He was literally socialist. There was a National Socialist and then the World Socialist. He was a nationalist. He loved Germany. Socialism was his thing. He said it himself. And we have been allowing these spooky actors, whether it be the legacy media or politicians, to tell this lie over and over and over again that Hitler and Republicans are hand in hand. I dare you to find one thing they agree on. And I'll give you 1,000 if they don't. Because everybody's going to agree on something. Evil and good will agree on certain things here and there. It's just the law of numbers. But no, CRT was designed to do nothing more than to exacerbate, thank you, to exacerbate racial tensions in this country. Racial issues, for the most part, would die down if people just, hey, treat everybody right, treat everybody like you want to be treated, and don't even talk about it no more. You want to talk about the history of it, I ain't got no problem with that. Tell the history, the good, the bad, and the ugly in the schools. I don't need you to give me movies designed to piss me off again. Because now, if I'm loose up here, I want to go out and be mad at a white person and maybe fight them or hurt them. Because I just watched Malcolm X, which actually, that's the wrong movie. That's a bad example. Because Malcolm X is actually pretty cool. He said some stuff about a certain political party that most people don't know either.
Alright.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
But I like Malcolm X. Some of our views obviously aren't going to be the same. I have no problem with my white brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? I only have a problem with people who have a problem with me. Still love them. I'm just not going to mess with you. I ain't going to be around you.
So I'm gonna cut you off here real quick. So
Yeah,
you feel that
no,
you're fine. No, you're fine. So you feel that the current application of CRT has deviated from the original intent of CRT?
No, because CRT, once again, CRT was never CRT's core purpose for existence.
So,
no matter where it's implemented around the world under different names, it's designed to take down the non-Marxist government officials and replace it with Marxists. It's designed to destroy countries.
Control.
Yeah.
All right. So political science in the schools that we go and learn is a way of controlling any system that develops in this country.
Yes, sir.
And so we got the politicians who say, vote for me and I'll set you free. And when he gets in office, he does what he wants.
Yep.
And that's what we fall from, but the carrot is work, economics. The reason black folks went Democrat after Abraham Lincoln had freed so many slaves, they went Democrat because I believe, the Republicans are about the haves and the have-nots. They are the people who got the money, and if you don't work the way we want you to work, you don't have nothing.
Okay.
So let me get back to critical race theory, and I'm going to throw this back at you. Let's talk about what the original intent of critical race theory was.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for bringing that back, because you cover a lot of area.
Yeah.
And so, I do this professionally. I work as a mental health therapist, and I'm addressing race from a mental health perspective, because race is an ideology.
It is a mental.
Like I said, race is an ideology. So most people are trying to address race from a behavioral standpoint. We're trying to get people to change the way they're behaving. So, but no one's addressing it from an ideology standpoint. So I have a lot of respect for you. I love your intellectual power. I mean, you're clearly a powerfully intellectual figure. You said a lot of information. However, there's some inaccuracies in that, of a nuanced perspective. Not to say that it's wrong, it's just not as specific as it could be.
And I can agree with you on that, because I was covering, like you say, so much so quick, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time to kind of clear things up.
To be real specific, And it's easy to do because it's such a big topic.
Yeah.
So just to not dispute what you're saying, but to just add clarity to that. First of all, most people should not be able to come back. She's back. Most people are not equipped to even speak about critical race theory, because most people aren't even equipped to even talk about race.
Right.
So if you don't know what race is, and I challenge people all the time, if you can't tell the difference between critical race theory and race ideology, you shouldn't speak on it, because they're two different things. And what people are doing is they're conflating race and critical race theory as one thing.
Well, explain critical race and the theory.
Well, I'm gonna get to it. So that's the first thing. Most people aren't really equipped intellectually to have an effective discussion, because they can't just do those two things.
Right.
Secondly, you are correct that critical theory comes from Marxists, not critical race theory. And what happens a lot is that people will conflate critical race theory with Marxism, when critical race theory was originated in 1970 through a group of lawyers. And it was designed, critical race theory was designed to address the impact, to assess the impact of race ideology on legal systems. The average person will not be able to tell you that. And it's so boring. I mean, like, who really cares? Now think about this. Critical race theory is a legal concept used to assess the impact of race ideology on legal institutions. Do you really think they're teaching that in K through 12?
A variation of it, yeah.
No. They're teaching what you're talking about is something different.
Yeah, and that's what I want to.
So what you're talking about is
clear
something
that up
different.
too. Yeah.
Critical race theory itself is not being taught K through 12. It just is not. Race is being taught K through 12, which is different. The minute you teach people that they're either a black identity or a white identity,
That's racism.
you're teaching race.
Yes.
You're teaching race. Now you're telling people, you're telling kids who instinctively know the power dynamic between white and black. As a therapist, I can tell you that kids have serious psychological issues once they understand that there are skin colors. It's just a fact. So
Yes.
these things need to be nuanced out. If you really want to address the problem, you have to really be educated on what problem you're trying to address. So to have this, to get back to your original question, which is opposite from your answer, yes, whitewashing is a response, a backlash from critical race theory. Why? Because a particular political party made it part of their political agenda, ginned everybody up for votes and political support. Now people really believe that critical race theory is being taught K through 12, and as a result, it gave them the motivation and the momentum to start banning what you're talking about, which is the history of Africans in America.
Well, now wait 1 second.
And what they call that, what they're doing is they're calling what's quote unquote black history, which again is another misnomer.
It's
Because there's no such thing as black history.
Okay.
There's no such thing as
It's American.
white history.
We are Americans.
It's American history. But again, once you come from a black identity or a white identity, you can't help but to start thinking dysfunctionally and start calling history
And being part
a
of the
color.
tribe.
Okay? So yes, it came as a result, the whitewashing of African history, of American history,
African history is American.
is American history.
Yep.
Okay,
And that's
now
how it should
just
be referred.
a minute, gentlemen.
Okay, Pop.
I'm thoroughly confused. I am. I don't know which way to go on this. I think we need to have a board.
Whiteboard?
Yeah.
A whiteboard?
A
Hey,
board.
Anybody get that?
Why you want to call it white?
You wanna go white?
With black
call
markers.
Yeah, with black markers, right?
Alright.
Why didn't we just call it a board?
Racism.
Hey!
Man, you're being racist, man.
Let's get a board, all right, and put a line in between. Critical and what's the other?
Critical theory.
Critical race
Critical.
theory
Critical theory.
and race ideology
And race
and critical theory.
Because I want
Critical theory.
Lord,
And I know where you're
Yes.
talking about, because there's a power structure embedded in all that. So when
Right.
you were talking about, what happens in the other countries, when
Yes.
you're talking about the ruling class.
You're further,
So
you
that's-
guys are
yeah.
further confusing person in my learning capacity. Get a board and put on there good and bad. What they're teaching now is bad and why it's bad.
Sure.
Critical race theory is what? Are they criticizing what we got now, or are they criticizing
I think he gave a really good definition of actually what it is.
Well-
It was an academic discipline that's taught in law school.
Law, taught in law school.
okay, so now here's where we go. If it was taught in law school and the system is based on law, Constitution and all that, then those who wrote the Constitution and taught the Constitution, they were at one time for slavery, it was one time for this.
They were never for slavery. Constitution.
Well, no, wait a minute, the
They
Constitution
had
said,
it, but they weren't for it.
what I'm saying, when they wrote the Constitution, they said all people, men are created equal and are in what's the way they say that about equal rights?
Yeah, several. Yeah.
That was in the Constitution.
Yep. All men created equal.
All right, then they amended it,
Three-fifth compromise.
and now that's where the money come in.
Now, do we now Do you know why the 3/5 compromise came into existence?
Well, see, now this is what I'm saying. The audience that we're going to be dealing with,
Got it.
they need to know those basics that they don't teach in school. We're not talking about
Got it.
what they talk in school because it's going over their head, just like I'm sitting here and it's going completely over my head. I have to think about it and wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, oh, I gotta understand that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is make this palatable or whatever, understandable,
Yep.
that the average person can know why you should vote. You should vote on a man for his integrity or his record, and his record is part of who he is.
Yes, sir.
And who he is what you're going to get. So what you see is what you get. Now, if a man is a liar, if a man does not uphold his oath that he gave to serve and protect and blase school, if he from somewhere else fails to do that, then he should never be able to run for office. All over that requires oath of office. Like teachers, we got teachers in school that are perverts, and they, huh?
Yes, they
And we turn our kids, our most valuable possessions or whatever, over to these people, and this guy's a pervert.
Oh, yeah.
Old girl. And she put her head up and says, I swore to do whatever, then she should be just like getting a dishonorable discharge out of the military.
I agree.
We got to bring integrity and moral standards back to the situation
That
in
starts
order.
in the home.
Huh?
It starts in the home, and
it,
there's so many kids that it's not starting in the home.
well, it will start in the home when we invoke what maybe Quentin is saying about bringing the village back to the community. So we start with city council. We start with block
boards.
captains. We start with presidential associations.
I think they'll leave out the school boards. Right?
Well, all of that, and then we go from there and we teach the people in the community what's good, what isn't.
Yep.
And what's good is their track record, rather than hide like they're trying to do the history.
Yeah.
Now the kids will get a feeling of, yeah, this is worth because I'm a part of it.
I think we, as a group or as a people, period, know what right and wrong is. It's just a matter
Oh,
of
that's a
not.
heavy one.
Oh,
No,
no.
we know. We
That's
do. We know. I mean,
Okay, I'll give you that.
yeah,
Consciously,
I mean,
Do you think a
sometimes
child
we know.
is
No,
being
no.
brought up would know without being taught?
No,
what's
I'm
right
not
and
talking
wrong?
about that. I'm just talking about as with these politicians. We're
Oh.
talking about, with these
I agree.
politicians doing
Once
right
you
and
get to a
wrong.
certain age, you should know
And
right.
we're actually co-signing
Yeah,
some of this
whatever.
bad stuff that they do.
So let me add something to that, because I know what you're saying, and I think based on the context, it's true, but I want to just put something in it just to make sure that we're being clear on that. There's a difference between facts, truth, right and wrong. They're not necessarily synonymous.
Right.
Here's why I say that, and I'm just putting it out here and love to get your perspective on countering or aligning with. Facts are objective. Just like you
Yes.
look at the color of the sky.
Not mixing them up with something.
Everybody, unless you're, as someone said earlier, colorblind. Everybody can see what color the sky is.
Yes.
That's an objective fact. Okay, you can add some interpretations. Well, the sky is blue because God, that's you. Now you're getting into subjective ideology, because every culture has their ideology story about why the world is the way it is.
Yeah.
But the fact is, the sky is blue.
So why is that not a truth?
The truth can sometimes be factual, but it can also be subjective. And here's why I said that. And I'm just positing this. I'm not saying to